Today, Hospitality MT is on location at Purdue University Northwest in Hammond, Indiana, where we'll be interviewing 5 bright undergraduate students about hospitality. Come on.
Welcome back to Hospitality MD. I'm Kyle and this is Chris. We're here at Purdue University Northwest with 5 lovely hospitality and tourism management undergraduate students. Thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with us, guys.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Welcome in, guys. Why don't we go around the table? Everybody can introduce themselves and let us know where you find yourself in the hospitality field in a couple of years, whether it be food and beverage or down a hotel industry.
Well, I'm Samantha Hammer, and right now I work in food and beverage, and my plan is kind of undecided right now. I like food and beverage, but I'd see myself more in the hotel side. Is that it?
My name's Naya Hall. Actually, I recently just figured out what I wanted to do in the hospitality industry. I am planning on getting my master's, so hopefully that'll lead me into teaching, and I try to take my hospitality business degree into the school industry.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. My name is Reginald Robinson. Currently working at a hotel right now. Been in hospitality for about 4 years. In a couple of years, if not with task force, opening different properties around the nation, hopefully in operations like assistant general manager, things like that, attaining a higher goal here.
My name is Francesca Lynch. I don't work in hospitality right now, but the end goal for me is to work for Disney, either in the theme parks or in the resorts.
Hi, I'm Curtis Hunt. My end goal is to own my own hotel, multiple hotels, hopefully. But I've been in hospitality for a good year now.
Okay, well.
Okay, so when you say own your own hotels, do you mean you want to get into the real estate side of and actually own properties?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, and you want to be in operations, you said.
Yeah, so actually, me and Curtis have talked a lot about it. We actually have the same end goal. I mean, he wants to open various properties, as do I do. I mean, essentially, having our own hospitality firm is the end goal. But it's all about starting where we are right now, learning as much as we have from the people that we have learned from, and then eventually opening properties, owning properties from real estate areas.
So you mentioned that you currently work in hospitality.
Yeah.
What is your current job?
Yeah, so right now, front desk. I work at front desk, guest service representative at the Hilton Garden Inn in Maryville.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, you're starting out here. Is this your first front desk job, first hotel property?
No. So first hotel property, I actually. I started in Chicago with the Chicago Athletic Association. So when we opened up that hotel, I helped actually open up that hotel. I was part of the opening team back in 2015. It was really awesome to be a part of an opening team like that. But we opened that property, stayed there for 2 years, came here May 1st, the Hilton Garden Inn in Maryville. I've been working there ever since at the front desk, and then Curtis joined us just a couple months later, and we've been rocking it out, dream team.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So you've had the experience now of working a full service property as well as a select service hotel. Have you come up with your preference? Do you know where you see yourself? You mentioned you want to be in operations. Do you see yourself in full service or select service hotel operations?
So the beauty about it, there's 2 different types of properties, full service and select service. There's those 2 are completely different, and now working in both properties, both aspects of it, I now see the difference between the 2. Being select service is definitely a more intimate setting. You get to interact with the guests more. You see them more on a daily basis. You do see that in a full service hotel, but there's so much more that the guests can do. You might not necessarily interact with them on a daily basis. At the CAA, they have 5 restaurants, 7 bars in that entire property. It's nearly an impossibility for me to interact with every single guest that comes into the hotel. Whereas in select service, there's not as much. They come here, they sleep, they may get breakfast in the morning, they'll come down and talk to us a little bit. It's definitely a more intimate setting. But as far as preference, I gotta say full service. That's definitely something I do miss. But I love select just as well, just as great.
So now I'd like to get everybody's opinion on something he just touched on, which was the ability to interact with guests, and even in a large-scale operation. How do you guys see hospitality being a focus even when you're on a large-scale operation? Does that make sense? Is the question? what I'm really asking is, how can you prioritize hospitality as a professional while dealing with a large volume of guests in a large and high volume operation? Let's start with you.
I'm going to start by saying team, and I think a lot of people agree with that. Hospitality is mainly, when it comes down to it, is teamwork. Like, that's the main thing. I think that's just my side. Being in food and beverage, we deal with high volumes. Like on a Monday, we had a banquet of 350 people. So when it comes down to it, it's making sure you have enough people that have the ability to want to help others too. And then when it comes down to it, it's just being, Curtis knows, being Naya, she's in the class with me, it's like leadership. Whether it's not so just managing people, but making sure that you're part of your team. I don't know if anyone could build off of that with me. If you want to help me out.
Personally, I look at it as a lifestyle. So basically, in my eyes, it's a tough world. Everyone comes to stay at our hotel. It's our job to try to make it a little bit better for them. If we could just brighten their day a little bit by doing something that, maybe it's their birthday, so we make them a little gift bag or something like that. Mm-hmm. It makes us feel good, and it makes the guests feel even better about themselves too.
So what you're really saying is, in a large-scale operation, by learning things about your guests, you can customize that experience for them and make them feel special, even when you have hundreds of other guests at your property or at your event.
Exactly.
Okay. What do you think?
Well, my only actual hospitality experience so far is working for Disney, and they're all
Well,
about...
let's not downplay that.
Well,
they're the gold standard for hospitality.
well, and so they get like thousands of people every day in their parks and their resorts, but they're still so focused on, take your time with that one guest. This could be the only time they're ever here. Make it memorable for them. Do something special for them. They're really big on the buttons that they have with, I'm celebrating my birthday, or we just got engaged, and they do that on purpose so that cast members can take that opportunity to make a magic moment for them, or do something specific to them that makes their whole trip. So even though there's such a high volume of people all day, every day, just taking the time for one specific person, doing something even really small, makes a huge difference.
Yeah,
and I think that has a lot to do with hospitality.
Okay.
I would definitely agree. I would say, it's about going from making that 1 second that you have, the 15 seconds in the elevator, though, that 5 minutes that you're checking in that guest, from taking that taking that interaction with them from transactional to transformational. It's all about the little things. Is what we do. Like Curtis said, when you write a letter to a guest, or it's their anniversary, so you send them up a bottle of champagne, or it's a little kid, it's his birthday, so you give them something free out the pantry. Kids like candy and things like that. It's something like that that's not only going to touch the kid, but it's going to touch their parents, and they're going to remember that. Say to them, like, man, I gotta come back here again. That, like I said, that 15 seconds in the elevator, you say, hey, what are you all doing in town today? Oh, you coming for a sports team? Oh man, that's awesome. What's your favorite team? Oh, Packers, cool. You remember that. You remember what room number they're in. Go buy them a Packers jersey. You're gonna bring it up to the room. They're gonna remember that. It's the small things.
So it sounds like creating an experience is a priority for you guys.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I think the key thing is to make sure that you just always kind of go out your way to be friendly, be like greeting them. That's something that I learned in the hospitality program, as well as from Curtis. He's really big on that. He's very big on that. But that aspect of going out and just saying hi to that person, you never know the impact that can have on their life, or in that time, or in that point in time, or however you want to, like, it's just, I think that aspect is really important. Having that, just being and remembering, treat people how you would want to be treated. And in hospitality, that's huge. So
I like where you were going with that there, as in not only hospitality as a lifestyle, but that you can really impact someone's day with that.
yeah.
Outside of school, outside of work, in the hotel and food and beverage and hospitality field, how has the lessons that you've learned in your hospitality experience impacted you on a daily life in your interactions with your fellow humans?
I would actually have to say, having experience, my first hotel experience actually was working at a Fairfield Inn and Suites in Maryville, and it was previously owned by White Lodging. So something that they instill in you is to make sure in replacing "you're welcome" with "my pleasure."
Oh yes.
So I carry that on through the program. I'm not even still at the hotel, but even when I'm serving in different food courses that we have, I always end with my pleasure. It's just something automatically, and I think that people's faces are just shocked when I say that I replace that with you're welcome, and they're kind of like intrigued, like why my pleasure? And it's just something that, keep a smile on your face, just keep like doing everything you can for them, because they can really tell. I think if it's genuine, it'll come across as that.
It just goes to show how the littlest nuances in verbiage can make the difference for a guest.
Yeah.
So
I think touching on points, as you said before, opportunities that we're given in the hospitality program could be a TA position or a GA position, which is teacher assistant or graduate assistant. So me being personally given that option, I've learned a lot from working with different students. Now, remind you, I could take a class and be their TA in that, and then the next hour we're in the same course. So learning how to treat people, being aware of like people's different personalities, because not everybody is the same. So I may talk to Curtis different, I may talk to Reggie different, just to motivate them in a different way. So that's a big thing that they give us. That's another huge opportunity. That's kind of like a management skill, if you kind of look at it that way.
oh, absolutely.
Still sounds like you're personalizing the experience,
Yeah.
whether for his friends or you can go into hospitality with guests. It all comes down to personalization.
Absolutely. Now, Reggie, I'd like to hear your opinion on the skills and mindset of hospitality and work in school field as it relates to life and treating humans. Because when I asked that question, I kind of saw your face. You were like, oh, okay. What do you think?
No, I mean, I like the question. I think they definitely both go hand in hand. I feel like hospitality is a part of life. Like Curtis referred to earlier, it's a lifestyle. I don't think it's just something that, we just put on this uniform and I come to the hotel or I go to a restaurant or I go to a fitness center and say, hey, it's time for work, and I like humans for the next, 8 hours. No, it's a lifestyle, and it's very genuine. People as human beings can sense out when someone is being genuine or not. There's a saying that I love so much, and I heard this literally 10, 15 years ago, but it says people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Meaning that I can say all that I want to say to you, but if it comes off as dishonest or disingenuine, I'm going to be like, this guy, I don't want to hear anything that he has to say. But if I come to you and out of the kindness of my heart and say, hey, like this is what I want to explain to you. Like I understand you have this current situation. Well, let's look at it like this. Then how can we now move forward in this? How can I help you to change, the aspect of the situation? So it's a lifestyle. It's a completely different lifestyle. But I think they definitely go hand in hand for sure. I feel like you can't live life without hospitality in some aspect. I mean, for me at least, it's like it's hand in hand. Like my family, my friends, my work family, everybody's gonna get the same amount of respect because everybody deserves just that. I come from a family where you don't have to earn my respect. You're gonna get it just because you're a person, you're a human being, and I feel like that's how hospitality works as well. Obviously, it's more amplified, and we're guest oriented and things like that. And we sometimes take for granted our family and friends because we see them on a daily basis. But when you go to work and you experience different situations and lifestyles, and you talk to people, and you come back home, I know for me, it has definitely amplified my love and my care for my family and for my friends for sure. Because it's like, hey, man, I see these people struggling on a daily basis, and I come home and you have a different variation of this problem, but it's still an issue. How can we handle this? How can we talk about it? What can I say? What can I do to help you get past or get over this hump or get past this situation? It's hand in hand. Like Curtis said, it's a lifestyle. It's definitely a lifestyle.
I love the point you bring up about being genuine. I find a lot of people, I'm still new to the industry myself, but more people I meet, the ones who are successful are truly genuine and want to be there and want to provide an experience for the guest, and instead of kind of faking it until they make it kind of thing.
Yeah, that attitude may work in other fields, other industries, but it doesn't work in life and it doesn't work in hospitality, that's for sure.
I feel like if you fake it till you make it, somebody's gonna know.
Yeah,
Somebody
you can
will tell, and
Well, as you said, I mean, some people can see right through that.
Yeah,
And they will
absolutely.
call you out on that very quickly.
yeah,
Very quickly.
yeah.
So, Curtis or Francesca, did you have anything you wanted to input into that?
I just feel like with the question you asked, I thought of myself of going out of my way. So working at the hotel and being here at school, there's plenty of times where I'm tired and I don't really want to go out of my way, but I will for people because I've learned that. For instance, I have been shopping at stores and someone will ask me for help, like I work there, and I will help them either way. And then, they're like, can you do this for me too? And I'm like, I don't work here. I'm just being myself and helping people. And that is a good lesson I've learned. Our previous GM at the hotel I work at, she was really big on empowerment. So I've realized I can do a lot of things to go out of my way for people and make their lives a little bit easier for them.
Okay. What about you, Francesca?
when you asked the question, I thought of like one specific example, like when I first went to Disney, and then when I came home. You know, when you're a cast member, you don't just do your one job. You do, if you see something that a guest needs, you're supposed to do it or find somebody that can get it done. And one of the biggest things, because the first time I worked there, I worked all throughout the park, was if you see a family taking a selfie, you go up to them and you ask, do you want me to take a picture of all of you? Like with the whole shot, not just up close.
Yeah.
Or if you see the mom taking a picture of the kids, you know, you get in the picture, I'll take it for you. I caught myself doing that multiple times after I came home, and it's just like second nature. It just, not even at big functions or anything, but just in general, if you see people like taking a picture, I would offer, oh, do you want me to take that for you? And a couple of people looked at me like I was a little crazy, because like, why are you coming up and asking us that? But a lot of people really appreciated it, and it was just like, you know, something I never really thought to do before, but learned from my experience there, and it made a lot of people's day just by asking to do that for them.
Well, I think it's interesting how you say that some people looked at you as if you were crazy when you were doing something genuinely nice and going out of your way for them. Because I think that it's our duty and our responsibility as hospitality professionals, as hoteliers, as, you know, restaurant professionals, and as human beings, to break down that cynicism that has built up in our society because of negative attitudes and because of just, you know, people are cynical.
Yeah, they assume the worst.
And I think if we can do our job to, you know, blow those walls down, that's, you know, that's really going to make a difference in people's lives, and it's a ripple effect.
Oh yeah.
And it's going to, you know, maybe you take a picture for that, you know, for that family, and then maybe they see a family struggling as they're walking away, and they help out too.
Right.
Pay it forward. It's hospitality.
Yes, pay it forward. Definitely.
So we kind of talked about how, you know, hospitality, you started out in school and how you can apply that to life. What about before you even got into school, before you got into your careers? What sparked the interest? What made you think, okay, I'm going to school, I can be, you know, an actuarial scientist, I can be a veterinarian, I can be an accountant, but no, I want to be in hospitality. This is where I belong. Tell me about that experience.
I can actually touch bases on that. When I first came to Purdue, I really wanted to be a physical therapist. Not a lot of people know that, but originally I came here and it was a concentration, not a major. So I would have to start off as a biology major, and I quickly figured out that was not for me. I ended up talking to an advisor, and she was for all the students that were undecided. And she was like, what do you like? What do you like to do? What is your life like? Basically, she just asked me different types of questions, and I just said, like, I've always been good talking to people. I love customer service. I just love the aspect of conversation. So, and I'm very talkative, so that kind of point. She was like, well, have you thought about hospitality? Had no clue this building was over here. No clue.
What's that?
No, what is that? I thought it was the building past the fitness center. So went in there, took a couple classes, never really got the picture until I probably became a sophomore in the program. And I really figured out like how all of our courses like are interchangeable. What like, and then I started, I'm like, I don't know if it was like a bubble popped or.
Well, can you identify the light bulb moment for you where you were like, I'm starting to get the big picture, I get this, and I like this?
When I worked at a hotel. I think I got the big picture. Before that, I had a clue, but it clicked really when I started working at a hotel.
So you mean once you connected those in-class experiences to an applicable real-life work experience, that's when it hit you?
Exactly.
What about that hotel did that for you?
It was a small property, so it was very like hands-on regardless. There was not like one person at front desk, even if one person called off, you know, I took over that responsibility. I was there. So I was responsible for front desk and breakfast. So those two aspects with food, and then you have, you know, kind of on the other side with hospitality. So I got two experiences, and I was just all over the place, to be honest. I wanted a little bit of everything. So, because I knew that this was my industry, I knew that this is what they were talking about in class. I knew that this is something that potentially I want to be in. So I wanted to be hands-on. And when I was all over the place, checking in people, you know, taking care of people in the breakfast area, learning their habits, learning what they don't like, what they like, how they like their waffles, how they don't like their waffles, how they like a station setup, all of that. It just gave me, like, I don't know, it was a light bulb moment. I think I figured out how much stuff in class we were talking about, and taking that customer service and everything that I learned just in that short period of time all made sense.
I think you got bit by the bug.
Probably.
Because I mean, I'm gonna hear from each of you guys, but you know, that moment when you get that adrenaline rush, you get that fulfillment of that you're making a difference to people. Maybe it's just me, but that's addicting.
Yeah.
There's a high you get from that.
It is.
And I think that's what draws certain people into this industry, into this field. And does anyone have a comment on that? A moment specifically, a memory, a story that you can think of?
Well, for me, it was a much longer process. So I graduated high school in 2011. I went straight into college. Went to Bob Brazen University, studied political science. I'm like, I'm going to be a lawyer. This is what I've been saying since I was 5 years old. This is what I'm going to do. It took me about a year and a half to decide, hey, you know, I can't lie that well, so maybe I need to try a different field.
You being genuine, right?
You know, I was like, man, I can't defend this guy. I don't know what's wrong with me. And so we tried a different field. Started working. I was working in a restaurant. That was my first job. I worked in a restaurant for about 6 years. Then I joined the service. Joined the Navy. Was there for 4 years. Came back, and I was like, okay, well, what now? What to do now? My brother was like, hey, there's a hotel open in downtown Chicago. Me, you know, and my cousin were going to be working there. Like, you should definitely come help us out. I was like, okay, let's try it out. I went and fell in love with it, man. I just we had orientation, and the capstone of orientation, we were all in one of the ballrooms, and they said, you know, this is an opportunity for you to, you know, pretty much make a name for yourself. You are creating a guest day. You are making their life different than what it has been before than any other hotel. Like, this is your moment. Like, you take this moment and you run with it. And I was like, this might be something that I like. And, you know, as time continued to go on, I just began to work with people. And, you know, my mother has always raised me to be very respectful, to pretty much treat all people with dignity and respect. I fell in love with it, man. And this is definitely, I started working. I worked there for 2 years, and then, you know, it took me back here to go to school for it. And I love the program. I love the people. Obviously, these people here are all phenomenal. And I love hospitality. This is a real deal, man. Yeah, it was a while, though. It took me a long time to find out who I was and where I wanted to go. But when it clicks, man. It clicks.
Everybody's on their different path. I'm in the same boat.
Yeah.
It took me 7 years, and then I got into hospitality, and it was a light switch.
Same.
About 7 years, though. 25 now, so yeah. It's about 7 years.